first of all, let's explain how a week 53 comes about. So it only applies to weekly, fortnightly, and 4-weekly payrolls. And the reason there is sometimes a week 53 is that the number of days in a year doesn't divide into a neat number of weeks. So in 2025-26, 365 days, as it's a non-leap year. And if you divide that number by 7, you end up with 52 full weeks and 1 extra day. Now, if your pay date happens to land on that extra day, that is when you will have a week 53, because if you pay weekly, that would become your 53rd pay date of the year. Now, for this tax year, you'll have a week 53 if your usual pay date will land on Sunday, the 5th of April. Now, Sunday perhaps isn't a very common pay date, with it being a non-banking day, and it's important to understand that it's the pay date that counts, so the date that the employees receive their pay, rather than the dates that you're paying them for. To look at this another way, if I show you a tax calendar for 2025 to 26, and you can download tax calendars from our help center, you'll see that the tax year began on a Sunday this year, Sunday the 6th of April. That was the start of week 1. And then if we scroll to the end of the tax calendar, you'll see we've had 52 full weeks, and then we have that 1 extra day. And if your pay date lands on that extra day, that is your week 53. Now, if you have a week 53, there's nothing you need to do differently when you come to process it. So you would set your process date to your last pay date, the 5th of April in that example, and you would enter your payments as usual. But there are special rules around calculation of tax for week 53, and payroll will automatically apply a week 1 calculation. So you don't need to change any tax codes or add the week 1 flag. That will happen automatically behind the scenes. And then once you've completed that final pay run, your week 53, if you have one, you're then ready to think about year end. Now, what can happen in the following tax year if you've had a week 53 is that HMRC issue a P800 notice to employees to inform them if they've underpaid tax. And that's because they've had an extra week of free pay allowance in the payroll, which is completely in line with HMRC guidance. And then they might have a tax code change as a result of that, or they might end up repaying some tax to HMRC. But all you need to be worried about is whether you've got one. Don't process a week 53 if you don't have one, and don't try to avoid one if you do.